Okay, move out.
There we were, just 24 hours away from graduation and the gold bars of a second lieutenant. I don't know about the other men, but I was thinking back over the past 4 years as a cadet. How fast they'd gone by, how wonderful they'd been. Funny thing is, I never wanted to be a cadet in the first place. I mean, I didn't grow up with the idea of going to the military academy like a lot of others. In fact, even when I was in high school, I didn't know where I was going to college. Who knows what might have happened if a bunch of us hadn't gotten together for a Coke that day.
All right, guys. Who's gonna pay for the Coke this time?
He is.
$30 for 2 new tires last
That car's running. You gotta watch that.
What a money on that.
Well, what do you know? Walter's going to the Ivy League.
Why not? Dad said you can't beat them for liberal arts education. And for prestige.
What about you, Doug? Where are you headed?
I don't know yet.
Hey, old buddy. I thought you were coming to state with us.
Yeah, well, I mean, I might, but I want to take a look around first.
You know, I couldn't make it with my marks, but you ought to consider the military academy, Doug.
Me?
Well, sure.
Are you kidding?
Now, come on, you guys. You can get a darn good liberal education at the military academy.
Yeah, but you still need pull to get in there.
Oh, no.
I didn't even think about West Point again until a couple of weeks later when our college counselor also suggested it. I told him what the others had said. The military academy was a place where they locked you up for 4 years.
You've got the wrong impression of the military academy, Doug. I know because I just visited there with a group of secondary school counselors. It's an up-to-date educational institution. And I don't mean just new buildings and facilities. I mean the whole academic program.
That place is still pretty big on engineering, though, isn't it, Mr. Kilson?
No. Of course, there's extensive coverage of the sciences. Nuclear energy, electronics, rocket propulsion, aeronautics, you name it. But there's also more emphasis on non-technical subjects. History, economics, international relations, languages. That's because the academy graduate today could just as well find himself sitting around a diplomatic conference table or in charge of a nuclear energy plant as in command of troops. Or he could be attending civilian graduate school. 3/4 of the graduates do, you know.
3/4.
Here's the Military Academy catalog and a profile of the class that entered last year. Why don't you look them over?
Well, thank you, Mr. Kilson, but I'm really not interested.
That's too bad, Doug, because you have the right combination for the academy. Good marks, athletic skill, leadership ability. Of course, you might not be able to qualify. The competition is pretty stiff. Maybe you'd better think in terms of some other college.
Well, I'll just look this over, Mr. Kilson. That night, I studied the academy catalog. What surprised me was the variety of courses. Quantum mechanics, Shakespeare, management engineering, political philosophy, linear algebra, and programming. There were over 100 electives to choose from. I was also impressed by the background of the faculty and by the Academy's program in the computer sciences and the use of educational TV. I decided to prove to Mr. Kilson that I could get into the Academy, so I applied to my congressman for a nomination. He asked me to send my school record to a civilian selection board, which then interviewed me. I guess I did all right, for the congressman wrote and said that he took the board's recommendation and would nominate me for an appointment to the military academy. During my senior year in high school, I was notified to take the three-part qualification exam. Medical, physical aptitude, and college board tests. Then one day my letter of appointment came. And you can guess how the folks acted. You'd have thought I'd been elected president or something. I knew I'd miss my friends if I accepted. Still, it felt good to be picked, to qualify for a college with such high standards.
Doug! Oh, hi, Miss Kilson. Congratulations. I just heard the news.
Well, thank you, sir, but I'm still not sure whether I'm going to accept.
Really? I'm surprised. It's quite an honor to be appointed to the military academy.
Well, I know, sir, but there are a couple other colleges that I want to consider.
Well, yes, of course. But then, if you do go elsewhere, you'll never really know if you could have lived up to the academy standard. Will you?
I knew that Mr. Kilson was challenging me. Well, I never could resist a challenge.
You're at West Point now, and we're going to make a cadet out of you.
Although it's officially termed New Cadet Barracks, we plebes soon learned why everyone calls this introduction to cadet life Beast Barracks.
Give me MacArthur's message. Sir, General MacArthur's message. From the Far East, I send you one single thought, one sole idea, written in red on every beachhead from Australia to Tokyo. There is no substitute for victory.
The commander of the new cadet battalion is the king of the beasts. He and his staff have the responsibility of making cadets out of civilians, and they take their jobs seriously. Under the supervision of the tactical officers, the cadet detail provides basic military training, which includes plenty of marching and drilling, PT, and a taste of soldiering in the field using modern combat weapons. They also make sure that new plebes become familiar with the standards of the Corps of Cadets and with the Cadet Honor Code. The Honor Code was established according to the precepts laid down by Colonel Sylvanus Thayer, father of the Academy. It means simply that a cadet shall not lie, cheat, or steal, nor condone anyone who does. Rigid adherence to an honor code and system may seem harsh, especially when the Cadet Honor Committee has to recommend that a cadet be dismissed from the Corps. But on the battlefield, integrity is a life and death matter. An officer's word must be relied upon without question. There were times that first summer when I didn't think I was going to make it, especially when I heard from my buddy on vacation. But whenever I felt like quitting, I said to myself, try one more day. If thousands of others could make it, you can too. And I did. At the end of August, we were formally presented to the Corps. We were no longer new cadets. We were now plebes and members of the Corps. As we marched along the plain, I felt proud. I knew I had met the Academy's first challenge. That fall, when the academic program started, I began to feel as though I was going to college at last. The aim of the Military Academy today is to give you a general education in both the arts and sciences, along with a broad military education. During the school year, 80% of the time is spent in academics and 20% in military training. Dear Mr. Kilson, sorry I didn't write you sooner. You were right about the academic pace here. It's plenty tough. Take plebe math, for example. So far, we have covered vector analytic geometry, much of calculus, and linear programming. Now we are into differential equations.
Mr. Bell, we'll have you discuss your board first, please.
Yes, sir. Under the system established by Colonel Sylvanus Thayer, classes at the Academy are small, of the seminar type.
Just a minute, Mr. Bell. What is Kepler's second law?
Sir, the radius vector from the sun to a planet sweeps out in equal areas. Classroom participation is stressed, and there are frequent quizzes. As a result, each cadet receives a maximum of individual attention from his instructor and learns to think on his feet.
Well, that's right, Mr. Kaiser. Thank you.
My marks that fall averaged 2.7 out of a possible 3.0. This was pretty good, considering I was competing with some of the sharpest men in the country. Before I knew it, it was Christmas time.
Check on the end of that line that you're on the right card. On all is right. Here you know star bases. Top tenor. Very. Second tenor. Pick it up from all is right. Two things.
I was glad Academy policy had changed, so that now plebes, too, got Christmas leave. We worked long and hard for 6 months, and we were ready for a break. It was great to be home. When I got back, I was a few hours early, so I took a walk around. West Point is our nation's oldest continuously occupied military post. With links to the past, as solid as the links of the great chain General Washington used to block the Hudson River to British shipping. Since 1802, it has been the home of the United States Military Academy and the birthplace of the long gray line. That first spring was a busy one. There never seemed to be time enough for all we had to do. But you learn to live with the routine of the military academy. And you learn to handle the academic work. Of course, it helps to have a fine new reference library and someone to study with on a weekend afternoon. That's always something that surprises people, that the academy is co-ed on weekends, just like a lot of other colleges.
I quit.
What's the matter?
Well, I might as well quit if I have to pass English to get through this place.
Take it easy.
Well, what are we going to be? English professors or soldiers?
We're going to be officers who have to know how to communicate with our troops. Come on, Jack. Can't be that rough. Here, let me take a look at it.
You know, I really got to hand it to you, Doug. You've really got this place figured out.
Why not? I'm not aiming to be another MacArthur or Eisenhower. I'm just here for an education. Period.
That's all?
Sure, that's all. Come on, old buddy. Let's solve this problem. I had things all figured out. At least I thought I did. Until that summer when we took our field training in the hills near West Point. When I was riding home, it suddenly struck me. Soldiering at Camp Buckner had turned out to be a real kick. Particularly our recondo training. Recondo. That's short for Reconnaissance Commando. A combination of mountaineering, hand-to-hand combat, and making like G.I. Joe, revolutionary style. At the end of Recondo, we went out on a simulated ranger mission. Take it from me, you sure learn a lot about responsibility when you're the one who has to lead a patrol through enemy territory and launch a surprise attack. But it wasn't all work. At Camp Buckner, the cadet hostess is on duty in the summertime. I began to have more appreciation for the benefits of Army life. On weekends, Buckner's almost like a summer resort. You can count on Lake Popalopa. It gets them every time. When I reported for classes that fall as a yearling, I felt far removed from the plebe of the previous year. And far busier, too, what with physics, chemistry, and history added to our other subjects. We're modern and continually being improved. In particular, I enjoyed our experiments. The problems our instructors assigned were challenging. Many of our instructors also made use of the closed-circuit television facilities.
Today you are viewing the creation of a new hairdo, which, while not appropriate for cadets, is certain to revolutionize hairstyles for women. In this experiment, the Van de Graaff merely demonstrates the repulsion of bodies of similar charge. In this case, the strands of hair repelling one another radially outward.
Of course, we weren't always in class. There was studying to be done in the barracks, and there were more than 60 organized extracurricular activities to choose from. I worked on the class committee, and I was selected for the cadet choir. Along with this, we had a heavy athletic schedule. The United States Military Academy athletic program has been labeled by some experts as the best in the world. Its aim is to make every cadet an athlete. Or, in the words of President Kennedy, intelligence and skill can only function at the peak of their capacity when the body is healthy and strong. At West Point, every cadet undergoes a concentrated program to improve his basic physical abilities.